The NFL is officially broken, with Myles Garrett and Aaron Donald stacked on the same defensive front. Opposing quarterbacks have nowhere to hide as the Rams declare all-out war for the Super Bowl.
A good way to protect somebody with Garrett.
Well, but you couldn't have all of inside. We're outside.
You're outside.
Yeah.
Like, who's being kicked inside?
I would say this. I would say that if it's us,
yes,
the coach is probably gonna tell me I have to deal with Garrett more one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna double Donald. If they got, it matters who's on the line. If you have a real good guard, then you might leave him a little more one-on-one. But you can't double both of them.
You can't.
There's no way.
I know you can't.
You can't.
I mean, there's no way you can.
Double teaming them was already impossible. But what truly terrified opposing offensive coaches was Myles Garrett's insane personal mission.
Career in the NFL. Do you set those benchmarks? Like, what is the goal now for Myles Garrett?
Break my own record. I mean, there's a couple of records on the way. You know, if I get 20, have the most in by year 10 of anyone, and that would be passing Reggie. And I want to, be up there and be his peer and surpass him, but I also want to, break my own records in which I've created and go out there and get 24, 25.
Be in that game
Against Aaron Donald, potentially.
or Myles, or both. You're gonna have to. Sometimes you're gonna double. Sometimes Garrett's gonna be one-on-one. But you're gonna have if you're smart, you're gonna have Myles on one side. You always gonna have Donald opposite. You're not gonna have, or you might put them both on one side and run some games with them. I mean, you can do that.
And by the way, the Rams aren't the only two talented. Obviously, they're two guys that you're going to have again as neighbors.
Opposing lines couldn't handle that overload. And the cold. Hard statistics prove just how brutal this quarterback nightmare will become.
Myles, you have attacked quarterback after quarterback, and actually I did a little bit of math, which is a bit of a shock. Of the 32 projected starters, you have sacked 21 in the NFL. I know you're a guy that loves to throw out some tombstones, and get this, of the 11 remaining, you have a chance to take down 6 based off the Rams schedule.
Okay.
So is your lawn big enough for every tombstone that you're about to gain?
Hell, we might have to get somewhere bigger.
Reference the fan reception, and what I heard a lot upon your arrival from LA Faithful is, oh my gosh, he reminds me so much of Kobe in a bunch of different ways. And that was before then you wore the Kobe shirt to Dodger Stadium to throw out the first pitch. So do you have some Mamba mentality?
The Los Angeles Rams are unleashing a level of defensive pass rush warfare that threatens to fundamentally break the competitive balance of the National Football League. When the Rams organization finalized the blockbuster transaction to pair reigning defensive powerhouse Myles Garrett alongside 3-time Defensive Player of the Year Aaron Donald, shockwaves rippled through every single front office and coaching staff in professional football. This wasn't just a bold offseason upgrade or a standard roster addition. This was the terrifying, unforgiving creation of an unblockable, cheat code defensive line engineered specifically to terrorize opposing quarterbacks and march straight into Super Bowl LX. To understand the sheer mathematical impossibility opposing offenses are now facing, you only have to listen to Hall of Fame offensive tackle Willie Roaf, a Gold Jacket legend who spent his entire career battling the most formidable pass rushers in NFL history. Roaf doused the league in brutal reality on national television. When asked how an offensive line room could possibly scheme against both Myles Garrett and Aaron Donald, Roaf offered a terrifyingly blunt assessment. You simply cannot double-team both of them. It is physically and structurally impossible. If an offensive coordinator commits 3 blockers to chip and wall off Myles Garrett on the edge, Aaron Donald is left in single coverage on the interior. If they slide protection inside to slow down Donald, Garrett tears around the perimeter completely untouched. There is no strategic counterplay. Offensive lines will be entering every game at a permanent handicap every single week. What escalates this situation into pure nightmare territory for the rest of the league is the unquenchable hunger driving Myles Garrett himself. Entering his prime with America's team in Los Angeles, Garrett isn't satisfied with merely winning games or collecting personal accolades. In an explosive interview from Rams training camp, Garrett publicly declared a goal that sent shivers down the spines of offensive coordinators nationwide. He is actively hunting for 24 to 25 sacks in a single season. having already eclipsed Reggie White's historic single-season production. Garrett is aiming to smash his own legendary benchmarks and set a gold standard of pass rush dominance that may never be touched again in NFL history. Imagine the tactical horror defensive coordinator Chris Shula can Mimi unleash when he decides to line up both Aaron Donald and Myles Garrett on the exact same side of the formation. As Willie Roaf pointed out, stacking two first-ballot Hall of Famers side by side forces an offensive line into instantaneous chaos. The guard and tackle on that side are forced to make split-second decisions against two freakish athletes executing lethal two-man game stunts. If the guard slides out to help on Garrett's edge rush, Donald uses his elite hand technique to rip through the exposed inside A-gap. If the tackle overcommits inside, Garrett loops around completely unhindered. It is a lethal defensive overload that will leave offensive line coaches tearing their hair out in the film room. The sheer destruction Myles Garrett leaves in his wake is already backed up by eye-popping historical statistics. Of the 32 projected starting quarterbacks across the National Football League today, Garrett has personally sacked 21 of them. He has literally built a mental graveyard of opposing signal callers throughout his illustrious career. Looking at the Rams' upcoming 2026 schedule, Garrett has a direct line of sight to add 6 more names to his legendary list of victims, from division rivals to AFC powerhouses. Every single quarterback lining up against Los Angeles is walking straight into a high-stakes pass rush meat grinder. Behind this ruthless, high-octane physical preparation lies an intense psychological obsession with championship glory. Myles Garrett revealed that every single night before he goes to sleep, he practices a disciplined ritual of visualization. He writes down his ultimate goals and visualizes the exact sequence of events required to achieve them. But his mind always lands on one final, non-negotiable destination: hoisting the Vince Lombardi Super Bowl trophy high above his head right inside SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. For Garrett, bringing the Lombardi Trophy back to Los Angeles isn't a secondary dream. It is an all-consuming daily obsession. The synergy between Myles Garrett and head coach Sean McVay has injected an electric atmosphere into the entire Rams facility. McVay's relentless, infectious energy on the practice field, moving from playing deep safety to running behind the defensive line, complements Garrett's Mamba mentality approach to the game. Inspired by the late Kobe Bryant, Garrett operates with a ruthless daily purpose, elevating the work ethic of every player around him. Young pass rushers like Kobe Turner and Byron Young are thriving in an environment where excellence is the absolute bare minimum standard across every single unit. Tactically, General Manager Les Snead has built the surrounding roster to ensure that this pass rush translates into game-ending turnovers. With an all-pro secondary locking down perimeter receivers, opposing quarterbacks won't have the luxury of getting the ball out in under 2 seconds. That extra split second in the pocket is all Aaron Donald and Myles Garrett need to force strip sacks, generate hurried interceptions, and flip field position in an instant. On the other side of the ball, Matthew Stafford operating an offense featuring Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, and Davante Adams guarantees that opponents will constantly be forced to throw from behind. Furthermore, the psychological toll this tandem inflicts on opposing play callers cannot be understated. Offensive coordinators will be forced to abandon deep pass drop concepts and revert to max protect schemes involving tight ends and running backs in blocking duty. This effectively neuters the opposing passing game before the ball is even snapped. When an offense is forced to keep 7 men in to block 2 defensive linemen, the entire field opens up for the Rams linebackers and defensive backs to make aggressive, game-changing plays. However, with this level of historical talent comes immense, non-negotiable pressure. The Los Angeles Rams have placed all their chips on the table for the 2026 season, operating under a strict Super Bowl or bust mandate. Anything short of a championship parade in Inglewood will be deemed an unpardonable, catastrophic failure. With Super Bowl LX being hosted right inside their home venue at SoFi Stadium, the Rams have zero margin for error. They have assembled a cheat code roster, and now they must deliver the ultimate prize: The warning shot has officially been fired across the National Football League. Los Angeles possesses the most destructive pass rush pairing in modern football history. A Hall of Fame quarterback driving a dynamic offense, and an unshakable mandate to claim the crown. The reign of terror begins now. And no offensive line in the league is safe. Do you believe Myles Garrett and Aaron Donald will break the single-season sack record and lead the Rams to a Super Bowl victory at SoFi Stadium? Or will opposing offensive coordinators find a way to slow down this cheat code defense? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay locked into microphone for the ultimate NFL coverage.
Yo, mic check 1 to 2, -1, -2. Game over for this video, folks. Smash that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe to stay in the huddle for more. This is NFL Madness, bringing the heat and signing out.